one of our animals from the Amazonia Conservation Hub, so the Amazon. And some of you can probably already see her. She's munching on a little piece of corn. Does anybody know what type of animal this is, if you can see her?
Adorable.
Adorable is totally right. I heard some other answers too. Here she comes. Maybe now you have a better view. Yeah, she's a porcupine. Very good. So now that we can actually see her, you can tell that she is a porcupine.
Gracie.
Now, she's not the type of porcupine you probably think of when you picture a porcupine. Usually we think of, well, there's several different species. There's about 29 different species, so they all look a little bit different. Some are on the ground. They're ground dwellers. Some of them will be up in trees. And this is a species that's going to be found up high in the trees. She is a prehensile-tailed porcupine, also known as a Brazilian tree porcupine. So it's not the kind you would find in the United States. We do have some North American porcupines that live in the United States, and they are fluffier looking. They're mostly black, and they do have some white too, but they're a little bit fluffier looking. And Gracie here, you can definitely see all of her quills, so she's mostly quill covered. Now, she's going to be found in the eastern part of South America, this species. And like I said, they're often found up in trees, so they have lots of adaptations that will help them survive up there. So as she's walking around, you'll notice that her tail is going to help her navigate her space. So she'll wrap her tail around the bits of the trees here, just like that. Wow, right on cue. Good job, Gracie. And she can actually totally hang from her tail if she chooses to. So her tail is what we call a prehensile tail, which is a big fancy word. That means it's a grasping tail. So like our hand. So you can kind of think of it as like a fifth limb, and that grasping or prehensile tail is super strong and can support her weight. So that's going to be super helpful for her while she's navigating the trees out there in South America. And as she navigates this feeder.
The orange teeth.
Good job, Gracie. Now they have other really great adaptations, so you'll see that she's using her hands quite a bit too. So the porcupines, they will bring the food to their mouth, so she's kind of doing that right now. Some of you folks can probably see she's bringing food to her mouth. So that's a characteristic of not just porcupines, but rodents. So lots of species of rodents will do that, because porcupines are rodents. Fun fact. Other adaptations that she has, those back feet too, she can actually turn them 180 degrees and walk face first down a tree. So that's definitely going to help her up there in the trees as well. Now Gracie right now, she is munching. We give her all sorts of produce. She eats leafy greens. As you can see, Casey's holding some greens for her. Her favorites are corn, and other than that, her favorites kind of vary day to day. She can be a little bit of a picky eater, but she definitely loves fig. She'll never turn down fig, and she likes grapes. She'll tolerate sweet potatoes from time to time. And then we also feed her other types of veggies like zucchini, squash, snap peas, which aren't her total favorites, but she will eat them too. Now, all of our porcupines also have a specialized pellet that they'll eat as well. That's just something that our nutritionists say that we should give our porcupines so that they get their full balanced diet. So she has a couple different types of pellets that she'll eat too. Now, out in the wild, Brazilian tree porcupines, they will eat things like leaves, they can eat flowers, fruits, and then they'll also eat the cambium layer of the bark, which is that layer just underneath that part you can see on a tree. So those are the types of foods that she eats. Now, what are some other things that you notice about Gracie as she's navigating this space here? Do you guys notice anything in particular about her? You can call it out. Yeah, her prehensile tail, very good. How about all those quills? Yeah. Well, quills, they are just modified hairs, believe it or not. So they're made out of keratin, just like our hairs are, our fingernails. Keratin is pretty abundant resource out there in the wild, in biology, I should say. So it makes up the bird's feathers, it makes up quills of a porcupine, snake scales. So you'll hear keratin quite a bit when you are studying animals and things like that. So quills are just a modified hair, but they are specialized. So if you were to look at it under a microscope, you'd see at the very tip of the quill, it has a bunch of barbs. So it has a bunch of little things sticking out at the end. And that's what makes these quills so dangerous. It's a great defense mechanism. Now, of course, they're super pokey. They're sharp. And if they were to stick into a predator or something that's trying to mess with a porcupine, those quills, since they are barbed at the end, they'll come out really easily, and they will actually slowly go further and further into that animal. And in fact, there was one study done that showed that one quill went into the bloodstream and traveled all the way to that predator's heart, and that's actually how they passed away, is from that quill. So they are super, super dangerous. Now, a lot of people think that porcupines can shoot their quills. What do you guys think? Do you think that they can shoot their quills?
Yeah.
I hear some mixed reviews. Should we test it? Front row, you guys ready for Gracie to shoot her quills at you?
Yeah?
Yeah. No, unfortunately, they cannot shoot their quills, or fortunately, I should say, because you stand pretty close to them. But that is a common misconception because they do come out really easily. So they're just loosely embedded in the skin. And like I said, they're barbed at the end. So if they come into contact with something, they'll just come out pretty easily because of those barbs. So yeah, unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say,
Porcupine
they do not
booty.
shoot their quills. That would be really dangerous. We probably wouldn't be standing that close to them. But it's just like a hair. We can't shoot out our eyebrows, right? We could try. You can? Show me. Yeah, right? It's pretty hard, but we'll lose hairs, from time to time too. Now those quills are also hollow on the inside. They have like a honeycomb-like structure, so they're super buoyant. So it can help them if they needed to swim. They are capable of swimming. I don't think she would choose to, but if she had to out there, in the rainforest where she lives, she could swim because those quills are buoyant. Now a little bit about Gracie. She is super special to us. Gracie is about 3 years old, so she's a young porcupine. They live about 10 to 12 years out there in the wild, but under managed care like zoos, they can live a lot longer. They can live up to like 17 years. And the oldest one ever on record was 26 years old. So Gracie, of course, will live to 100. No doubt in my mind. But she is really special to us because she came to us as part of what's called a species survival plan. So if you haven't heard of that yet, you probably will at some point today and right now, because a species survival plan is basically kind of like online dating for wildlife, if you will, where one person will partner up animals from across the nation in order to get really genetically diverse, healthy babies. So Gracie was partnered up with our other prehensile-tailed porcupine, Picante. And I'm happy to say it was successful. This year we actually, or I should say last year, because it's 2026 now, we had a porcupet born. That's the name of the baby porcupine. And his name is Paquito, and he is all grown up now, and he lives over in the Africa Rocks Encounters area. So he is living his best ambassador life over there right now. But it was really cool because Gracie, as you can see, she's a trained wildlife ambassador, and we could actually train her to participate in her own health care. So what I mean by that is that we were actually able to train her to stand up and put her hands on our ultrasound stand. So it kind of looked like, what do you call that? Like a upside down U. And she would hold on to the bars at the top, which would expose her belly, and then we could apply ultrasound gel, and the vet could do a full-on ultrasound with her. So we could actually see the baby growing. We knew when she was pregnant. We could know all this ahead of time, which is really important to know if you're trying to get a baby porcupet. So she was very good, and we use what's called positive reinforcement training or operant conditioning. So it's just like what you see here with Casey. We actually use that exact stick to have her put her hands on the ultrasound stand, and then we were feeding her, and she was able to hold still. So we could see that baby growing. We did monthly ultrasound appointments up until that baby was born. So we knew exactly, well, almost exactly when baby Paquita would be born and all that too. So training is super important for our wildlife ambassadors and all the animals across the zoo. We want them to be able to participate in their own health care. It doesn't just look like ultrasounds. It can also look like blood draws, which is really interesting, or vaccines. All of that can be done voluntarily, which is super important. And we build up all this trust with our wildlife in order to be able to do that. So Casey didn't just come to work on her first day and start taking Gracie out. That's not how it works. We have to build up our relationship slowly but surely, a little bit at a time. And sometimes, that just looks like giving them some food, coming into their space, and seeing if they'll come up to you, give them some food time and time again. And yeah, eventually she's able to do this, which is really cool to be out here for all you guys. And that's all through that operant conditioning, positive reinforcement training. She's in the zone right now.
I have a nut if you wanted to try it.
I literally
cool.
just got
So I think
pooped
Gracie
on
might have something to say. So we'll bring her
by something.
down here and see if we can hear what she has to say in a little bit. She can be a chatty porcupine. Sometimes they all have their own unique personalities. Gracie really seems to be very food motivated. As you can tell, she's like in the zone right now, eating her corn and peas. Some of them can be timid. We had one that was very particular about who their trainers were and could have a lot to say, maybe get a little aggressive if the wrong trainer came up to them that day. So we always assess their behavior and see how they're feeling in the moment. All right. So right now she's got a little grape, and I think we're going to give her a nut, and we can hear her crack open that nut, hopefully. So let's see. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, sometimes she gives up. Yep. No? Yeah. That was the most boring nut break ever.
She got through that pretty quickly. But, I'm proud of her because sometimes she gets frustrated opening the nut and then just throws it. So that was really good. Good job, Gracie. You can hear a little bit of that nut cracking. That's great. All right, well, I've talked quite a bit about Gracie and porcupines in general. I want to know, does anybody have any questions so far? How about you in the blue shirt? Great question. Yeah, so the question was, is the porcupine Piquito, is he out on habitat? And right now he is an ambassador who lives behind the scenes at Africa Rocks Encounters. But you may be able to catch him if you come back to the zoo. They have a 12 o'clock presentation, so you may be able to catch him for one of those. Otherwise, it would just be through booking a tour, you might be able to request seeing Piquito. When he was born, he was bright orange. So porcupines, when they're born from this species, they're this bright orange color. So for us, that seems kind of peculiar because it seems like it sticks out. But if you are an animal out in the rainforest, your vision's not going to be the same as ours. So that orange color is actually going to help them blend in with the trees and and blend in. So it's a nice little camouflage, even though they're bright orange for us. Somebody who sees a little bit differently, it's going to blend in. Yeah, great question though about Piquito. Do you have any other questions? Yes.
Why are the teeth orange?
Oh, why are their teeth orange? So I very briefly mentioned porcupines are a type of rodent. So rodents, some characteristics that they have is that they have ever-growing teeth. So they grow throughout their lifetime, but they'll kind of shave those teeth down with the foods that they eat. Now, porcupines and other species of rodents have that orange coating on their teeth. It's like an iron film that they have, and it could possibly make their teeth a little bit stronger. So that's kind of the thought that they have with those orange teeth. Good question. Yeah. All right, well, I hope you guys love porcupines just as much as I do. And if you do, there are a few ways that we can help maintain those numbers out there in the wild, even if we're all the way here in San Diego and we're talking about a rainforest species. So some things that we can do to help protect wildlife. One of my favorites is just paying attention to the types of coffee that you buy. So how many of you love coffee? I do. I have multiple a day. Guilty. Yeah, right? That is really true. So next time you buy a bag of coffee, I want you all to check the packaging and make sure it says shade grown, or it can also say Rainforest Alliance certified. Both of these are fantastic, and basically what it does, it just ensures that the farmers who grow the coffee do so in the shade of the forest and therefore leave it intact. So once again, next time you buy a bag of coffee, check the packaging. It should say shade grown, or it has a Rainforest Alliance certified stamp on it. And that's what we're looking for. Now, porcupines, their numbers are pretty good out there in the wild, especially the species, but all wildlife, their numbers are declining. And so it's really important that we try to, make good choices. Even just one individual making a good choice, if we all do it, kind of makes a big deal, right? And the more of us that do it, it's going to help out. Now, not only will buying shade grow coffee help our porcupines, but also help other species like ocelots, jaguars, anything that's out there in the rainforest that might use that space. Tarantulas, all that. So it's super important. Now, the San Diego Zoo, like I said, we have our conservation hub in the Amazon. So if you want to know more about the types of work that we do with the different communities, you can always visit our website. It's going to be sdzwa.org. Go on there and you can check out all of our conservation hubs and see the research and conservation we do out there, because it's really interesting and it's what makes me proud to work here. Well, it looks like Gracie went home, so if you guys have any questions, I'll be out here just for a little bit longer. Feel free to ask. Otherwise, we have another presentation at Wega Firth Bowl at 2.